Step back, stay silent, and watch them come running. Stoic power move. In a world constantly demanding your attention, your energy, and your immediate response, what if the most powerful move you could make was to simply step back? Welcome to today's exploration of one of the most effective psychological strategies from ancient Stoic wisdom that still works remarkably well today. And in the next 40 minutes, I'm going to break down what might be the most counterintuitive power move in human interaction. The deliberate choice to step back, stay silent, and watch as others eventually come running back to you. This isn't about manipulation. It's not about playing games. It's about understanding human psychology, mastering your own reactions, and creating the space that paradoxically draws others in when they're ready to engage meaningfully. Whether you're dealing with relationship conflicts, workplace power struggles, family tensions, negotiations of any kind, or simply wanting to regain control of your own reactions, this Stoic approach can transform how you handle difficult situations and difficult people. Before we dive in, remember that true Stoicism isn't about being emotionless. It's about emotional intelligence at its highest form. It's about choosing your responses rather than being driven by impulse. Let's begin. Part 1. The Psychology of Space. To understand why stepping back works, we first need to understand something fundamental about human psychology. We value what retreats from us. Ancient Stoic philosopher Epictetus wrote, "It is not events that disturb people. It is their judgments concerning them. When you immediately react to every situation, you're operating from what the Stoics would call judgment, your automatic assessment of what's happening. But what if you created space between stimulus and response? The vacuum principle. Nature abhors a vacuum, so do human relationships. When you step back and create space, something fascinating happens in that void. Let's break down what occurs psychologically when you step back. On pattern interruption. When you break expected patterns of reaction, it causes the other person to reassess. We're creatures of habit and anticipation. Scenario actor A. You always mess everything up. This project is ruined because of you. Scenario actor B. I understand you're frustrated. I need some time to think about this. This pattern interruption immediately shifts the dynamic. The aggressor expected a defensive reaction to fuel their emotional state but received calm instead. 2. Value perception shift. When something is always available, we value it less. This is basic scarcity psychology. By creating distance, you often increase your perceived value in the interaction. Roman Stoic Seneca noted, "What was hard to bear is sweet to remember." Distance often makes the heart reconsider. 3. Mystery and curiosity. Humans are naturally curious. When you don't immediately reveal your thoughts or reactions, you create mystery. The other person begins wondering, what are they thinking? Are they upset? Have I misjudged them? What will they do next? This curiosity often drives them to reconnect with you on different terms. 4. Power of silence. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "Be silent for the most part, or say only what is necessary." Silence is one of the most underutilized tools in human interaction. Most people are uncomfortable with silence and will rush to fill it, often revealing much more than they intended. Scenario actor A. Look, I know I might be asking for too much here. Maybe we could compromise. Notice how the silence created space for the other person to reflect and adjust their position without any argument from the other side. The neuroscience behind it. When conflicts arise, our amygdala, the emotional center of our brain, often triggers our fight-or-flight response. By stepping back, you engage your prefrontal cortex, the rational part of your brain. But something remarkable happens to the other person, too. When you don't engage their amygdala response with one of your own, their emotional activation often has nowhere to go. Without fuel, the fire begins to die down. This is why you'll often see someone who was initially angry or confrontational eventually circle back with a completely different tone when you refuse to engage in the emotional escalation. Part 2. The 3 steps of the Stoic power move. Now let's break down the 3 critical components of this Stoic approach. Step 1. Stepping back. Stepping back has both literal and figurative meanings. Let's examine both. Physical distance. Sometimes literal physical distance is exactly what's needed. Leaving a heated situation. Taking a walk. moving to a different room, creating physical space between you and a trigger. The Stoics believed that our physical state and environment affect our mental state profoundly. Physical separation gives you the space to see the situation more clearly. Emotional distance. Even more important is emotional stepping back. This means not taking things personally when they aren't, viewing the situation as an observer would, asking, will this matter in a week, a month, a year? Considering what advice you'd give a friend in this position. Epictetus taught, make it your study then to confront every harsh impression with the words, you are but an impression and not at all what you seem to be. Practical technique, the 5-5-5 rule. When faced with a triggering situation, ask yourself, will this matter in 5 minutes? Will this matter in 5 months? Will this matter in 5 years? This perspective shift helps you decide whether the situation deserves your emotional energy. Real application examples. Colleague, I can't believe you presented my idea as your own in that meeting. Stoic response, I understand you're upset. Let's discuss this later when we can talk privately. Partner, you never listen to me. You always prioritize everything else. Stoic response, this is important to me and I want to hear you fully. I need a moment to gather my thoughts so I can be present for this conversation. Step 2. Staying silent. Silence is not emptiness, it's fullness of potential. The different forms of silence. 1. Literal silence, not speaking when provoked. Not responding to inflammatory messages, letting accusations hang without defense. 2. Informational silence, not revealing all you know, not explaining your every decision, maintaining privacy around your plans. 3. Emotional silence, not revealing your emotional reactions, maintaining composure when others expect emotional outbursts. Controlling your expressions, the power of strategic pausing. When you pause before responding, you demonstrate self-control. You show you're considering what was said. You allow the other person to reflect on their own words. You gain time to formulate a thoughtful response. Silence as boundary setting. Your silence communicates, I decide when and how I engage. I will not be baited into reactions. I value words enough not to waste them. I am in control of my responses. The discomfort of silence. Most people are deeply uncomfortable with silence. They will often backtrack on extreme statements, offer concessions, reveal hidden motivations, soften their approach. This is why police interrogators and skilled negotiators often use strategic silence. It creates a vacuum that people feel compelled to fill, often to their disadvantage. Practical technique, the 3-second rule. Before responding to any provocative statement, wait 3 full seconds while maintaining eye contact or a neutral posture. This tiny pause accomplishes several things. It breaks the emotional momentum. It signals careful consideration. It gives you time to choose your response. Step 3. Watching them come running. This final phase is where patience bears fruit. When you've successfully stepped back and maintained silence, a fascinating human psychological pattern often emerges. The return effect. There are several ways people tend to come running back. 1. The circle back. I've been thinking about what happened. Maybe I overreacted earlier. Can we talk about yesterday? 2. The indirect return. Reaching out about unrelated matters. Finding excuses to reconnect. Asking mutual connections about you. 3. The changed approach. Returning with a completely different tone. Moving from aggressive to conciliatory. Shifting from demands to requests. The psychology behind the return. When you don't provide the expected reaction, people experience cognitive dissonance. Their mental model of how you should respond doesn't match reality. To resolve this discomfort, they often reconsider their approach, question their assumptions about you, feel curiosity about your perspective, seek resolution or understanding. The Stoic perspective on their return. The Stoic goal isn't to win or prove others wrong. It's to create space for more rational discussion, mutual understanding, resolution based on reason rather than emotion, growth for both parties. Remember, this strategy isn't about manipulation, but about creating conditions for healthier interaction. Part 3. Master situations where this works best. This Stoic power move is extraordinarily effective, but like any tool, it works better in some situations than others. Let's explore specific scenarios where stepping back, staying silent, and watching them come running proves most powerful. Emotional confrontations. When emotions run high, rational thinking plummets. The amygdala hijacks the brain, and people say and do things they later regret. Example scenario. Person A. You've completely ruined everything. I can't believe you would do this to me after everything we've been through. Stoic response. I see you're very upset right now. I want to discuss this properly. Let's take some time to collect our thoughts and talk when we're both calmer. By refusing to match emotional escalation with more emotion, you create a pattern interruption that often leads to 1. Initial anger frustration from the other person at not getting the expected reaction. 2. Cooling off period. 3. Reflection on their part. 4. Return with more measured approach. The key is authenticity in your response, not cold dismissal, but genuine recognition of emotions while creating space. Power dynamics and negotiations. In situations involving power dynamics, whether business negotiations, salary discussions, or workplace conflicts, the person who appears most eager often loses leverage. The ancient Stoics understood power dynamics well. Seneca, who advised emperors, wrote extensively about maintaining composure in the face of power. Example scenario. Boss, we really need you to take on this additional project. Everyone else is too busy. Eager response. Of course. I'm already handling 3 major projects, but I'll make it work somehow. Stoic response. I appreciate you thinking of me for this. I need to review my current commitments to see what's possible. Let me get back to you tomorrow. The eager response communicates, I'll accept whatever you give me. My time and boundaries aren't important. I'm afraid to say no. The Stoic response communicates, I value my work and commitments. I make thoughtful decisions. I have boundaries and self-respect. When you later return with your answer, whether yes or no, it carries more weight. Relationship tests and ultimatums. Whether romantic relationships, friendships, or family dynamics, people sometimes test boundaries with ultimatums or emotional manipulation. Example scenario. Person. If you really cared about me, you would do this. I guess I know where I stand with you now. Reactive response. That's not fair. Of course I care about you. Look at everything I've done for you. Stoic response. I understand this is important to you. I need to think about what you've said. 1. Initial frustration from other person at not receiving immediate reassurance. 2. Period of uncertainty. 3. Self-reflection on their part. 4. Often return with modified request or completely different approach. The Stoic perspective on tests. Marcus Aurelius advised, if someone is able to show me that what I think or do is not right, I will happily change, for I seek the truth, by which no one was ever truly harmed. This approach communicates, I make decisions based on principles, not pressure. My care isn't proven through compliance with demands. I respect myself and the relationship enough for thoughtful consideration. Part 4. Developing the Stoic mindset. The effectiveness of this strategy depends not just on the external actions, but on your internal state. Let's develop the Stoic mindset that makes this approach authentic rather than manipulative. Emotional self-mastery. The Stoics believed that emotions weren't to be suppressed but understood and directed. The STAR technique for emotional mastery. Stop. Pause when emotions arise. Think. Identify what you're feeling and why. Assess. Determine if this emotion serves you. Respond. Choose your response deliberately. Practical exercises. 1. The premeditation of adversity. Spend 5 minutes each morning imagining challenging situations you might face and how you would ideally respond. This mental rehearsal builds resilience. 2. The emotional observer. When strong emotions arise, practice observing them without immediately acting. Name them. I notice I'm feeling angry rather than I am angry. 3. The evening review. Spend 5 minutes each evening reflecting. When did I react rather than respond today? How could I handle similar situations better tomorrow? Developing strategic patience. Patience isn't passive waiting, it's active strategic positioning. The three types of patience. At outcome patience, not demanding immediate results. Understanding that meaningful changes take time. Trusting in process over immediate gratification. 2. People patience. Allowing others their own journey and timing. Not forcing others to match your timeline. Recognizing that insights can't be rushed. 3. Self-patience. Forgiving yourself for imperfect execution. Understanding that mastery takes practice. Celebrating progress rather than demanding perfection. Practical exercise, the delayed gratification muscle. Start with small daily practices. Wait 10 minutes before checking a notification. Delay a small pleasure you normally indulge in immediately. Practice sitting in silence for increasing periods. These small exercises build the neural pathways that make strategic patience possible in higher stakes situations. Cultivating true indifference. The Stoics spoke of apatheia, not apathy, but freedom from emotional disturbance. The dichotomy of control. Stoicism teaches that we should focus our energy exclusively on what we can control. Our judgments, our values, our responses, our actions. And accept with equanimity what we cannot control. Others' opinions, others' actions, external events, outcomes, practical exercise, the control inventory. When facing a situation where you feel the urge to immediately react, 1. List all elements of the situation. 2. Place each element in either the "in my control" or "not in my control" column. 3. Focus your energy only on the "in my control" column. This mental discipline creates the foundation for being able to step back, stay silent, and watch with genuine detachment, not because you're playing games, but because you've genuinely released your attachment to controlling others' responses. Part 5. Common pitfalls and ethical considerations. This powerful approach can be misused or misunderstood. Let's address the potential pitfalls and ethical considerations to ensure we're practicing true Stoic wisdom when stepping back becomes avoidance. There's a crucial difference between strategic distance and avoidance. Strategic distance has a purpose beyond escaping discomfort, includes reflection and growth, eventually returns to address the situation, feels empowering. Avoidance is primarily about escaping discomfort, lacks reflection or growth, permanently distances from issues, eventually feels disempowering. The test. Are you stepping back to gain clarity and control, or are you running away when silence becomes punishment? Reflective silence has a clear purpose, is time-limited, doesn't aim to hurt the other person, ends with re-engagement, is explained when appropriate. Silent treatment is used to punish, has no clear end, aims to cause distress, lacks explanation, is used as power play. The Stoic goal is never to punish others, but to create space for wisdom to emerge. The ethics of strategic interaction. Every powerful tool raises ethical questions. When practicing this approach, ask yourself, is my goal manipulation or genuine resolution? Am I creating space for truth or avoiding it? Would I respect someone using this approach with me? Does this align with my values? The Stoic measure of right action is virtue, wisdom, justice, courage, and moderation. If your application of this strategy embodies these virtues, you're on solid ethical ground. Conclusion: the wisdom of strategic distance. We've explored a powerful, Stoic approach that may seem counterintuitive in our reactive world. The deliberate choice to step back, stay silent, and watch as others eventually come running back. Remember that this isn't about manipulation, it's about creating the conditions for clearer thinking, more meaningful exchanges, healthier boundaries, interactions based on mutual respect rather than emotional reactivity. The paradox is that by creating distance, we often create the conditions for genuine closeness. By refusing to engage in unproductive patterns, we open the possibility for new and better ones. As you practice this approach, be patient with yourself. This is a skill that develops over time, with conscious practice and reflection. Thank you for joining me in exploring this powerful Stoic strategy. If you found value in this perspective, please like and subscribe for more explorations of ancient wisdom applied to modern challenges. Until next time, remember that your greatest power often lies not in what you do, but in what you choose not to do.